So, some of the lifeblood of what we associate with traditional live films, you cut them off from the beginning. You cut off the limbs. It was very brave. First of all, you took colour away. A massive thing to do, a massive thing to set out, a prerequisite to making it and say, I'm going to take all the colour out of what was a beautiful celebratory tour, despite the subject matter of the album.
Yeah, but there was still tiny color. Like everybody talk about the black and white, but so I said, no, it's not black and white. It's pearlescent. There's a tiny bit of color in it, and we thought it was kind of.
Your core was to concentrate on the music, to show it as the visceral beast it can be, and get away from it's chill, it's cinematic, and those kind of.
Yeah, and I think also it was a reaction to the beautiful Haima. Like, I think, like, Inni was done quite close. Like, when I met Dean O'Connor, like, they just released Haima, and we were just, okay, let's do another movie on Sigur, and I think it was interesting to explore another part of the spectrum of Sigur and not just repeat you know, what we've seen and know about the band. And my personal experience about them live was more about the intensity and the visceral power than the kind of the delicate atmosphere. So yeah, I wanted to create something that would just get in the guts. About the industrial thing, like, for me it was more organic than something clinical or anything. So that part was not intentionally, but yes, I wanted to be kind of a 180 degree from what Haima was.
There'll be a lot of people in here who are a bit more technically minded than I am. Explain the process, because how you shot it and then what you did to the shots after that was a very long process.
Yeah, it was long, but we took our time. Huh? We didn't have any deadline, so we work on it and they put it away and then start again. But to answer the question, we shot the film traditionally with you know, fancy HD camera, but there was a bit of a clinical aspect to it, so I decided.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's fine. Okay.
It's very directional.
Okay, thank you. Actually, we edited the film and just put a computer screen on an animation bench and just photograph the film with the Atom camera. And we developed the film, printed the positive, and then reprojected that film and just fucked around with salad bowl and hands and things like that, just to, for me it was interesting that we approached post-production in a kind of a fragile and imperfect way. So yeah, we sat in a studio and just like projected over and over and just react to the music and try different things and just kind of generate happy accidents out of it. So, and then obviously we recapture what we were doing and redid it.
And it's nice to get to tonight with all the work that's been in the Beta UK premiere. Were you able to watch it, or did you stay in the green room? Because a lot of actors and musicians, they run a mile when they're faced with watching their own performance. How many on stage made it out here during the actual?
I think Jonsi saw a bit of it, I think. Right?
Yeah, did you?
Oh.
It's not the
Yeah,
first
but
time I
2 minutes.
see it.
Yeah?
But we have seen it quite often, so we didn't watch it tonight. But I hope it was really good tonight, though.
Yeah,
We have
the lady beside me was asleep, but apart from that,
Yeah?
I think it went down pretty well.
Who?
Look, she wasn't snoring, and she didn't look bored. It looked more like she'd had a hard day, and she was just catching 40 winks, as we like to call it here.
I think you always have, you know, whoever you are and whatever you want to do, you always have a certain goal and where you want to be. and I think we're just the same as as everyone with that. We always have a goal, but I think we've been very privileged and very lucky at the same time. So, I don't know.
You've never, I suppose, just relating to what you were saying, you've never got lost in your own hubris. And I don't know whether it's within the band, there seems to always be a driving force. And I think you said it early on in the bus before we'd heard anything, the next album will be better. Is that still the Sigur philosophy, always the next project, get better and better and better?
Well, that's kind of the only way to go, for all artists and musicians, that the next thing will be better. I mean, you always have to improve, you always have to do better.
Maybe the next one's slightly worse.
Yeah,
We'll see.
And then who cares?
Well, I think we kind of like to look at us as independent, the four of us. It is kind of good for our morale, probably. But it's always fun to add things, of course, on tour and especially on festivals, to kind of have a kind of big thing going. But we were kind of happy with the last leg of our 2008 tour, that we were just the four of us. It was very good of us, because we kind of relied on extras on strings, Amina and Brasketi Bala, the brass band as well. But it was probably important for us to experience ourselves as just being four, and that being enough.
You can still work as a band.
Yeah.
Four-piece.
Yeah.
I think that was.
It's probably very important. Yeah.
Is it dictated by what happens in the studio? I'm sure it is. What happens over the next 6 months will probably dictate what you take out on the road anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And it is fun to, of course, when you're, doing tours, adding people on tour as well. It's very good. It's really nice, to have 4 girls on the bus. Of course. Well, you get a lot of rubbish out of Iceland. Definitely.
We just don't hear it.
Yeah, you just don't hear it exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't hear it, But yeah, I thought it's not very different from other places,
I was gonna be
in that
really
sense.
deep.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You
I
were
was
gonna
gonna
say
be
really
really
meaningful.
Yeah, I was gonna be really serious and answer it like deep.
Yeah.
Do it.
Oh,
Do it.
I don't know.
We
I
have
mean,
been asked this question a lot.
yes,
Actually,
and we have a I have a formula for this answer.
Yeah, do it.
Forgotten it.
No, it's kind of boring though. I mean, yeah.
You're good at handball.
We are good at handball.
Yeah.
Silver at the last Olympics. Yeah.
I think it's.
Yeah.
Does anyone know what handball is?
But there is a lot of good music in Iceland, and I don't think any of us can put our finger on what it is.
It is getting a bit stale now.
Yeah, I would say, so, but it gets
Yeah.
it's like the weather, it just
But
changes.
I
so
think,
much.
in the turn of the century, we kind of had loads of stuff going on in Iceland. I don't know why it
1900s?
was. 1900s. Yeah, exactly. And
Last
I
century.
really don't know why it was, but but we kind of have been, a bit privileged in Iceland, that we're not really, part of the music industry, and we're not really part of the big scheme, if there is a big scheme, and that has always been kind of good for us, because we don't really have to. Well, then I'm talking about, musicians in general. We've never had to make music to please the crowd, in a sense. And it didn't really matter what you did, you were just making songs, and it didn't really matter if you were played on the radio, because it didn't really make any difference, you maybe sold like, maybe
3 copies.
200 more copies than you would, sell usually, and initially I think that was kind of important for the Icelandic music scene at that time, and then I'm talking like, the 90s, the late 90s kind of. That it didn't really matter what you did, you just did the fuck you wanted to do.
I mean, when the Sugar Cubes, started, like supporting U2 on a tour, that was unheard of in Iceland. Wow, it's amazing.
So nobody really dreamt about really, making
It's
it.
just so distant, so
Yeah, it was
far
so
away,
distant,
and
yeah.
it's just all about
Yeah.
four of us meeting in a rehearsal space and making music because that's the only thing you really want to do.
Exactly.
And being
Yeah.
free to create whatever you want to create in your own way.